back. If it has joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Minister of State for Petroleum orders PPMC and PPPRA to ensure adequate supply of fuel. Lagos State PDP gives ultimatum to James Faleke to declare his state of origin. Court of Appeals sacks Delta State Senator Ihoyota Amori of the People's Democratic Party. And 2 former Congolese militia leaders transferred from the Netherlands to a prison in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Do remember that all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channels, where you can watch our videos. But do visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on a mobile device and download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We also urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app on the Android, iOS, and Windows platforms. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Here are a few pictures sent in to our Eyewitness portal. Let's begin with this one sent in from Lagos. It shows this man hanging on to a commercial bus as it moves along the Lagos-Abeokuta highway. Eyewitness reporter calls on traffic regulators to arrest and prosecute people involved in such dangerous acts. Our next photo was sent in from Bayero Road in Kano State. It shows this overloaded truck moving along the highway. Eyewitness reporter urges commercial motorists to desist from carrying excess items. The next photo is also sent in from Kano. It shows a father carrying his daughter to school on his motorcycle due to the cold weather. He shares his jacket with her. Such an admirable gesture. Finally is this photo sent in from Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. It shows refuse bags indiscriminately dumped along this road. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on state authorities to create more awareness on the need to maintain healthy environment, especially during the Yuletide. Thanks for sending in those pictures, and know that you too can become an Eyewitness reporter for Channels Television. 2015 has been a challenging year for security nationwide from May 29th, when the President, Muhammadu Buhari, gave the December 31st deadline through the liberation of most of the communities in Borno State from the grip of the insurgents, the review of the death sentences placed on the mutinous soldiers who fled the battlefield when it became obvious that they had no adequate military hardware to fight the terrorists. Today, many have continued to look at the problem of insurgency in Nigeria and how best to resolve it and the future of the armed forces of Nigeria in the fight against terror. Joining us tonight on the News at 10 to look at and review the death sentences and, of course, the fight against terror is retired Army Brigadier General Olusegun Ajana. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. First of all, it's the end of the year. When you take a look at the armed forces and their performance this year, how would you rate them?
I think so far they've been doing very well. A number of territories that were captured by the insurgents have been recovered. And in fact, we are now having a situation where the displaced people, as a result of this insurgency, are now returning to their original homes. But that is not to say that the war is over. The military is still very much involved in combing the area to ensure that we do not have any untoward development again, and possibly end the battle in that sector. But that notwithstanding, I have said this many times, the battle may be over, but the war may not be over, in the sense that we still have all these sporadic ideas of incidents of bomb explosions here and there. And I think it's another phase of the war that has to be combated effectively. Of course, it's not only the Nigerian army that is going to be involved in that. Other security arms are going to be involved in terms of detection to prevent explosions in various places.
And we're gradually inching towards that deadline that the president gave, the December deadline. Do you think we will still make it?
I think the deadline actually is in respect of the battle. The organized battle may be over by December, but I know that once this type of development happens in a nation, insurgency, you discover that you cannot put a firm end to everything. There will still be all these bomb blasts and all the rest of it, and effectively the government is going to address that, and I think they are already addressing it. Detection is actually the solution in that direction. And then, of course, I read just a couple of days ago, because I mentioned this sometimes in one of the programs in Channels Television, that hijab being worn by ladies in the Muslim-dominated areas of the country should be put aside for now, in the interest of the country, so that the guys under which these nefarious activities take place can be checked.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, looking at the military in 2015, well, the Datsuki Gate made it clear that monies that were set aside for the purchase of military hardware and equipment for the soldiers was not used for that purpose. And so, would you blame the soldiers that rebelled at that time and were eventually sentenced? Would you blame them for fleeing in the face of battle?
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, the soldier is under two laws: the constitutional law of the country and the military law. You have no business in the uniform if you're not prepared to fight. That's number one thing. And refusing to fight in the military is a capital offense. It's not something that can be tolerated. It is the purpose of the organization. And once you're not prepared to fight, then you're out of it. So, so many things happened under the regime of President Jonathan. And of course, we are now getting to know some of these things in the public. It's unfortunate. And I believe that people who have conscience should never have allowed such a thing to happen. Money voted for acquisition of military equipment being diverted into various things. I think it's most inhuman and very bad.
But in the light that they didn't even have the equipment to even fight,
yes,
doesn't that sort of reduce the sentence that they should have?
You see, unfortunately, the law is the law. Once you refuse to fight, you've committed an offense. But that notwithstanding, the basis of that law is that it is assumed that you have what to fight with, and you refused to deploy it. But if what you have to fight with is not there, the justification for the law is out. So I can understand that the military has to maintain its stand that if you refuse to fight, you are due to be punished. But at the same time, when we look at the case of the boys that are arrested and tried and sentenced, if indeed they do not have what to fight with, I believe the authorities would probably come to terms with the fact that, in fact, these ones deserve presidential pardon.
Wow. Well, talking about the former National Security Advisor who, well, we've seen a lot of evidence in recent days of monies that were given to him, and he, you know, sharing out these monies and so on. Given you know, the evidence that has been made known to the public, even though he has retired, should he be court-martialed at being a former military person?
I don't think so. He's a retired military officer. The appropriate steps have been taken already. The case has been investigated. The charges are now being laid and is before a court. I think that is how it should go. If he had been in service as a serving officer, yes, that would call for court-martial. Yes.
Looking forward to 2016, you said the battle, of course, will be won in 2015 by the end of December, but you said the war continues. So
Yes,
how should the military fight the war? Because the Minister for Information did say a few days ago that Boko Haram will begin to look for soft targets. That's
Yes.
public places where you normally have, large crowds of people and so on. So how does the military now, what's the approach now to helping to fight these insurgents and making sure that,
That's right.
we create a safe environment for everyone?
The war in that direction is no longer totally that of the military. It is everybody. Anywhere you suspect strange movements and so on and so forth, I believe that some form of information centers have already been set up so that the members of the public can contact such places to ensure that things are nipped in the bud. Because once a bomb goes off, casualties are counted.
Yeah.
And I think what we should do, and in fact for quite some time to come, we should all be security conscious and ensure that we report anything unusual in our environment.
Retired Army Brigadier General Olusegun Ajana, thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you.
In other news, decades of suffering of the people of Aguleri Kingdom, a farming community in Anambra East local government area of Anambra State, may have come to an end with the opening of the Odene Bridge. The Odene Bridge, stretching 280 meters and 48 kilometers, is the first structure to cross the Omambala Ezu River, which links huge farmlands and several other communities which were formerly only accessible by canoe. Our community report tonight examines the lives of the Aguleri people before and after the construction of the road by the Anambra State government.
Now you're talking.
No matter what your goal is or how long it takes you to get there, your chances of success are based largely on your willingness to persevere. That is the case of the communities that fall under the Aguleri Kingdom, who for as long as time can remember have not had reason to cross the river Omambala, reason being there's been no bridge to make that possible. The predominantly fishing and farming communities only had canoes to ferry whatever they needed, a most discomforting arrangement for most.
It hasn't been easy for a long time, and how the fatigue has been and the stress, especially for the market women, the local farmers. In fact, we really went through hard time to go through.
We do pay the people that cross us, sometimes 20. During flooding, the amount we increase to maybe 40 naira or 50.
If your bag enter inside the canoe, you collect 100 naira for one bag.
For all the years the people have gone through this hardship, they never let that stop them from working, probably because they believed that succor would come someday. And it appears that the government of the day is living up to its promise of delivering the much anticipated relief. The kingdom now boasts a 280-meter bridge and a 48-kilometer road constructed by the Governor Willie Obiano's administration.
This is the first time any government in Anambra State is remembering the people of this area. And this bridge will go a long way in opening up these areas and ensuring that the food and what have you that they have reaches the market. There's a second one, that the Iyora Anam Bridge. That Iyora linking this up will create a big loop in the development of the economy of this area that is very agro rich and oil rich, gas rich, and what have you. So it's a very important strategic trust by this administration.
The pledge of leadership has doing the right thing with integrity and compassion as major components for anyone vying for positions of authority, because meeting the needs of people, as seen here, is what is paramount.
Excellent. Now you're talking.
When the news at 10 returns, Abia Road commissioning plus our special reports coming up after the break. Please join us again.